Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to take our Hunter alignment machine and put it into a demo mode so you guys can practice doing your alignments. So up here on our screen we have the When Align button that's going to turn our alignment machine on and start our program up. So I am going through this in real time. I am going to print out instructions. That way everybody has it and we can leave a copy of it up here on our machine. So as soon as our alignment machine opens, we'll have our home screen. We go down here, and this is not a touch screen, so we do have to use our mouse. So we go to Begin Alignment. So once we go into Begin Alignment, we go down here and we pick a car of our choice. Remember, this is simulation, this is demo mode. So if you have a car that you're going to work on, then you can pick it in here. So we're just gonna start, we're gonna pick, we'll go with a Subaru BRZ. We have our year range to pick in here. So this is year, make, model. So we'll pick a 2014 to 2020 Subaru BRZ. And if you have information like this that pops up, I'm also going to leave this. You can pause it and pay attention to what's on here. It says reset required. Electronic stability control. Equipment requires reset after procedure of alignment is done. So remember we talked about electronic stability control. That has to do with our steering angle. So basically, once we do an alignment, now our control modules are going to need us to tell it, hey, the car is now going to drive straight. So we have to do reset procedures for the ESC system. So for now, we're going to hit OK. This screen pops up, says a manufacturer's vehicle has specified two types of tolerances for the same alignment angle: inspection tolerances, which are called measurement tolerances. That basically says, do I need to do an alignment? So it's basically a pre-alignment check. So we have our inspection tolerances and then our adjustment tolerances. If our inspection tolerances are too wide, if we have a wheel that's too far out of alignment, then it's going to say, yes, you need to do an alignment. So we are going to hit ready. So we have our car, year, make, model, and everything put in here. There are illustrations on the left side of our screen that shows how we are supposed to mount the heads, which are these on our machine. So each one of our mounting heads has these reflective dots on it. This is what our laser heads up here are pinging and sending an image back to our machine when these are clamped on our wheels. So for this case, we're going to bypass this in our demo mode. So to get into demo mode, we get to this screen. We do Control Alt Shift F8. So Control Alt Shift F8. Our screen changes, we get this. This is our rolling compensation. We have all of our mounted heads on our wheels. We roll the car back and forth, so that's how it gets its initial measurement. So we're going to bypass this. We're going to hit Alt C. And we do this for each one of the four wheels. And basically this has bypassed our rolling compensation. So after we would have rolled the car back and forth, we would have to now turn the steering wheel. This is our caster sweep. So this simulates our car and our steering wheel being turned. So to do this step, Control, Alt, and then you're either going to use the left or the right arrow. So this one tells us that we need to use the left arrow. So we basically go Control, Alt, and the left arrow, and we're just simulating that we're turning the steering wheel. So we get to this, we let go of our buttons. We wait for our reading. Again, Control Alt, and then now we're going to go all the way to the right. It goes quick, it slows down in the middle, and then it'll go quick when it gets to the green section on the right. So we get to the middle of our green section on the right. We wait, we would do our measurement, and if we were in the car, we would be doing this with the steering wheel. Then we do Control, Alt, and then we go back to the middle. This one does take a little bit of time, so just keep holding the keys down before it starts to move. There we go. And now we're back in the middle. That would be our caster sweep. So now for our demo purposes, now we can go through, and this is a simulation on this car. We have some things over here. These are express align procedures. So if we did something that's just specifically related to rear camber, or toe, or measurements or things like that, we would click on these express align features. So we're going to close this window. Now we have our entire vehicle on here. We have both of our rear wheels and both of our front wheels. We can pick, if we go to the left front, camber, caster, and tow. We can look at it this way, or if we go down here into the middle on the bottom, we can pick through these options. I do prefer this show bar graph, and it changes all of our images. So we can go back to show measurements in this screen. And then let's say we want to adjust rear camber. It takes us back to our bar graphs. So the main thing we want to look for, it's now simulation mode. This is for us to find our settings, what the functions of all of our keys are, and other things like that. So what we want to do is we want to pay attention to these icons, this little wrench icon right here. We can click on that, and then we can go down to illustrate adjustments. So we click on this. This one says this manufacturer does not specify a rear camber adjustment. This means that this is not adjustable from the factory. So if our spec is out like this is, there is no adjustment. So we'll go to this one, we'll click on our icon. This is for rear tow, illustrate adjustment. And this pulls up a picture of the exact make and model of the car. This is the eccentric. This is what is actually going to push this rod to make it in or out further to get our adjustment right. And it says right here, rotate eccentric to adjust rear toe. So this is our eccentric. We would loosen the nut on this piece of hardware and we would turn this, and it's basically a cam. It's going to push our toe link in or out. So illustrate adjustments is a good one. There's video adjustments. If the computer has it in there, you can look at that. And there's also an animated adjustment, and this is saying that we don't have the CD-ROM for it. So all you're going to get is this illustrate adjustment. You can go down a little further, and there's something called tools and kits. Because we don't have tools over here for our alignment machine, this is going to say, if you need to do an adjustment that's out of spec, Subaru has an adjustable toe link. It's going to say you need a ratchet, a 19mm socket, and a 22mm wrench. So there's no guessing what you need for your hardware. This tells you that what size sockets and wrenches you need to do the job. So the other thing we would do, we'd come down here on the bottom, we have a bunch of options to pick, and we have these little 5 tiles in the middle. So let's say we want to go to the front. We can pick front toe. It says camber is not within tolerance. Please check with Express-Align to rerun Express-Align and adjust your angles. So it's saying you have to do the camber first before you can adjust your toe. We're going to go over that when we get into alignment specs a little bit more. We start talking about the geometry of doing an alignment. Any of these screens over here you can pick. So this is front, that has camber, caster, and toe. This is front, camber, caster, total toe. That includes your front and rear. You have this third tile down. It's got front, and then we will talk about steering axis inclination or steering angle inclination, depending on who you reference to. We will talk about that later as we get into suspension material. So this I wanted to show you is how you set up demo mode with our Hunter alignment machine here at Diamond Oaks.